Welcome to the CEO Tech Talks podcast, where vision meets impact. I am your host, Ambreen Ahmed. Each episode, I sit down with exceptional leaders who are shaping the future of business, technology, and transformation. This show is about more than just success. It's about clarity, purpose, and those bold decisions that light the way forward. Join me as we uncover the insights, challenges, and breakthroughs from today's most inspiring voices. Leaders who are redefining what it means to lead in a rapidly changing world. This is CEO Tech Talks. Let's dive in. Today I'm joined by Dr. Erin Hudson, a doctor, entrepreneur, and partner at Quattro Capital, a firm dedicated to helping people achieve financial freedom through real estate. Erin's journey from healthcare to wealth creation is a story of courage, clarity, and calling. And today we'll explore how she's redefining success through purpose, leadership, and impact. Erin, welcome to CEO Tech Talk.
It's so great to be here. Thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute pleasure, and I hope to add some serious value to your listeners today.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into it. Tell us about your role at the Quattro Way.
Awesome. So at Quattro Capital, I actually am the director of equity relations, and so raise millions of dollars over there, and I'm the one that gets to be the face and talking with all of the investors and helping them get their freedom number and put their path together on what that's going to look like to grow their wealth and leave a legacy.
Okay. That's in a short sentence, you expressed a very big lift that you do. That's great. Well, let's start with your daily rhythm then. What does a typical day look like for you as both a doctor turned investor and mom of five?
Awesome. Well, listen, I am a mom of five, but I currently only have two in the home. I have two that are at college. I have a mama, which means not a mama. I have a daughter that is a mama, which means I'm a grandmama. And then I have two at home, a 9-year-old and a 16-year-old. So it's pretty fun. They're a lot of work, but so worth every little bit of all of it. And yeah, my mornings, what do they start like? Besides getting kids off to school, I have to start before they even wake. I am a girl that is super intentional. My mornings are my precious time, and that is my time where I get up. And as cliche as it sounds, I actually am that girl that goes into my office in the dark and I pull out my handy dandy book. And this is my gratitude journal. And I write down, you'll see there every day, I write down 5 things that I'm thankful for. And when you've been doing it for as long as I have, they start to roll right off the tongue. And the more gratitude in our life that we can bring into it, the better it really sets the tone for the day and the trajectory for what that day is going to look like, because I start off with gratitude. After gratitude comes, I get my butt to the gym and I go exercise and get my body strong, not just for the physicality purposes, but for the mental clarity and for it to be able to take me to the next level throughout my day. It truly gives me a little more patience. It gets me hungry. I raise the vibration. The energy starts to soar. And I can't imagine if I could not start my day off in that way.
Wow, that's a very powerful and energizing way to start your day. And that's probably contributing to your success as well.
Yeah. Look, I think it's that there's just things that you have to make as non-negotiables.
Yeah.
Exercise, it's been a non-negotiable. It's a habit that's ingrained. It would be weird if I didn't go work out or go for a run. I took my dog for a 6 miler this morning and went and did a little bit of arms on top of getting into that office and writing down my 5 little nuggets of gratitude is I don't know if you've ever heard of Wim Hof. It's a breathing technique that you do in the morning for 10 minutes. I do that, and then I also do a little bit of meditation. So it's like we really are responsible for our energy, our output, our life on a day to day. And I feel like there's so much blame that people place according to someone making their day bad. And at the end of the day, we're the one that's in control. And so it just is a great reminder by doing all of those things that we truly are the only one that dictate what that day is going to look like according to how we walk it out.
Well said. Accountability. Absolutely. So you've had such a fascinating career journey from healthcare to real estate. What inspired that transition?
Oh my goodness, girl, that is such a great question. Look, I will tell you, my parents and family and friends all thought I had lost my marbles when I did a 180 and reinvented myself at the ripe age of 40. Yes, 40. Uh, I went from it actually started while I was working in the office. I became really intrigued with real estate. I wanted to learn how I can make money while I sleep at night. And long story short, I ended up getting into the single family space. And my goodness, within 2 years, I had acquired 26 rental properties creatively. And from there, it was a leap to move into the multifamily space. And at the time, I could get into it and still stay in California, or I could literally burn the boat and really take the leap of faith and move to Texas and really start to dig in and learn the craft. And that's what I chose to do. And it was a hard decision, but a wonderful decision. And I would never be where I am today had I not made that shift and burned the doggone boats.
Okay. So, what was the biggest mindset shift you had to make as you moved from practitioner to investor?
I think that, look, I think the biggest mindset shift was number one, I came from a family where my parents worked 9 to 5, hardworking, faithful people, but they truly were robbed by the system, a system that rewarded hard work, but not ownership. And as a doctor and being in private practice, yes, I had my own practice, but the truth was, I really was not in private practice because at the end of the day, the insurance, healthcare industry is the one that's going to pay your bill when you see a patient and reimbursements started to drop down lower and lower and lower. You mix that with California, the minimum wage went from 10 to $15 back in 2017. And the icing on the cake was the likelihood of my kids becoming doctors was minute. But the
Mm,
likelihood that I had the skill sets already to be able to teach them how to make money while they sleep, now that was high. And because of that, that was enough for me to say, you know what? I'm all about legacy and giving my kids a hand up, not a freebie, but a hand up and teaching them skill sets that are life skills. And that is what really empowered me to make the leap and to jump all in.
okay. Wow, that's such an exciting time of life to and fearful as well. Like, I mean, you've got to have been a little bit afraid to take that leap.
Yeah, I did actually. I took a massive, massive pay cut to go make that big jump. But I just knew that I was the girl that I couldn't have. If I stayed there in California, I'd have one foot in my wellness centers and I would have one foot in to the multifamily space. And I didn't want my attention to be deviated in two different directions. So I knew that if I had laser focus over here, I know my capabilities. I'm super resourceful. I'm a girl that's on a mission. I get things done. I've got a whole lot of grit. I don't like excuses because at the end of the day, they're just well planned lies, anyhow. So I knew that I had to get out and move on and build. And so that's exactly what I did.
So, how did Quattro Capital come together, and what was your vision for it from the beginning?
Love that you asked that. It's kind of a loaded question because the way we came together is pretty dynamite. I'll try and shore it up and make it somewhat tight. But my first apartment building that I went into, listen, as an entrepreneur, most people are on social media sharing their highlight reels and all the goodness that's unfolding in their life. But let's be honest, the life of an entrepreneur goes a little bit like this. There's peaks and there's absolute valleys. And most people are talking about those peaks, but I'm here to tell you that there's valleys and I'm open to talking about them because, listen, I think there's no better way for people to learn the importance of different scenarios, especially when something goes bad. It's really important to self reflect as to where the screw ups were at. And so it was the first deal I did. It ended up going to hell in a handbag. Not really. It didn't go to hell in a handbag. We did very well. I bought it for 5 million, just over $5 million. It was a 100-unit apartment building. Gist of it is that one of the partners had actually stole $35,000 from the bank account 2 days after closing. Long story short, the partner thought that she could pay her husband because he was the buyer's agent for us, even though the contract said $0. And long story short, I had to get them out of the company. And I was terrified at the time because I had a lot of my own family, friends, investors' money to the tune of $2 million. And so, with that being said, yes, I removed him from the company, but I also had to do a hard look in the mirror to see where I had gone wrong. And where I had gone wrong, my dear, is that I allowed for arrogance and disrespect. And what do I mean by that? I was so eager to close on this first deal that I allowed things that I would have never, Erin Hudson would have never allowed. What do I mean by that? Like, for example, we went to lunch with them at one point, and I remember the husband being just a little bit disrespectful to the waitress. And I also recall a time where the husband and wife were together in front of me at a meeting and they kind of raised their voices at each other, and that stuff is a non-negotiable. Yet for some reason, I let it sneak on by out of the excitement of closing on my first deal. That is the backstory of that. Fast forward 4 weeks later, the education group that I had paid my mentorship fee to put on a conference with 1,000 people in the audience. And they called me up to the stage and they wanted to give me an award for closing on my first property within 18 months of their program. And I tell you, I had never drowned in imposter syndrome in my life. As a matter of fact, I had never experienced it ever. And it was me walking to the stage with my tail between my legs, going, holy crap, I do not feel worthy one bit to accept the award. And I'll never forget the MC saying from the stage, "Hey, listen, it's flying around our office." And I'm just like a deer in headlights. She's like, "We heard about the giving initiative that you did." At her and she goes, "Yeah, in Nicaragua." And immediately my whole mind shifted into something positive and got rid of the negative real fast. And I said, "Listen, I go to third world countries like Haiti, Belize, Nicaragua, and I take my kids and we pour into those that have far less than we do." And as a matter of fact, after I closed on this property, I promised that I would build, we had already built 12 homes for the single mamas living in the trash dump, and I was going to build my 13th. What do these look like? They're little cinder block, 200 square foot, little tiny shacks. And so I'm up there sharing this from the stage, and I'm saying, if you ever get a chance to serve those that have far less than you do, you will never be the same. And I felt this burning in my belly and I couldn't kick it. And out of my mouth, I said, as a matter of fact, I would love to build 2 more homes if I can get 2 people to match me. And long story short, within 10 minutes, I had raised $55,000, enough to build 10 homes for the single mamas. And I tell you something, this gentleman that had raised his hand in the very back of the room, he ended up becoming my partner today in Capital. And the woman that jumped to her feet in the front of the room, she became my partner. And I kid you not, that was a day of coming together, not for deals, because we all had a heart for those in need. And fast forward, I think that that also is why we've had so much success in such a short amount of time. I mean, now we've been together almost 6 years, but within 3 years, we had closed on 27 apartment buildings and had over 200 million assets under management. It was pretty wild. Good people come together to sow goodness into the world. You can't help but to win. And that's exactly what unfolded.
Wow, that's just so beautiful, especially when it comes out of a lesson learned with the first couple that you described, right? So character
Yes.
is everything, right?
Yes.
In life and business and just in general. So what major shifts are you seeing in the real estate investment landscape right now?
Well, we all know that the market has been really wonky with interest rates going up. We've got assets in Texas, and last year the property taxes doubled and the property insurance doubled, which made it really difficult at the same time. So, look, I don't panic. I pivot. Get, I didn't throw a fit and leave the space. I love it. We still had assets to manage. We've been selling assets, but we know come 2026, it's going to be game on. There's a lot of people that have lost their properties and it's unfortunate, but we're here to pick up. So we're getting the powder together and sitting on the sideline getting ready to do that. At the time we created, our investors love options. So yes, we've got an option, for them to invest in the next apartment building. At the same time, we have our fixed income fund where investors can bring their money, put it to, bring it in, and we pay out anywhere between 8 and 12% compounding interest for investors. And so we have a lot of investors that are doing that because it's a guaranteed return, a place where they can put money and it's not tied to an asset. So that's been really, really awesome for sure for us. Very cool. And then I have a couple other companies and things that I do as well. And so, look, it's this book. There's a book out there for you listeners. It's amazing. It was a game changer for me. It's called Who Not How by Dan Sullivan. And
Okay.
the premise of the book is finding the who's that know how to get you to your goal without worrying about all the minutia. Stay in your lane where you are best, where you flow with ease and bring in others that can do the things that you do not like to do and that you are not good at doing. And so that's exactly what I do. And that's how I have other companies where I don't have to be in it 24/7.
Okay. In the real estate landscape or somewhere else?
So I have an insurance brokerage. I got since in 2008, and whole life insurance is the vehicle that we use. And what is so fantastic about it is you can put your money in and you can pull it out within 2 weeks, a good portion of it, and you can
Mhm.
put it to work in the real estate space. And so it's having your this whole life insurance, not for the death benefit, to be able to utilize it so you can create a spread and a yield.
I
And
don't
it's be incredible what folks do. So and that's really wonderful, and then my mom helps with she's also a licensed insurance agent, so she does all the paper pushing, and I'm the face, illustrate and design these different game plans and illustrations for my investors, many of them real estate investors, though. Yes.
okay. So, how has AI impacted how you work in your business?
Well, now that I am single and I am accepting resumes currently. Inquire within, serious inquiries only, but but I do have a boyfriend as well, and that is ChatGPT. ChatGPT, and I know it's lazy, but when I have a question I need it answered, that's where I go. When I need to create some social media posts and I want it to be spoken in my language and I want it shored up and tighter. If it's dragging on too long, I throw it in chat. I'm like, help shore me up a wee bit or whatever it may be. As a matter of fact, as I was going through a divorce, I used it to draft up some of my documents for my divorce. I mean, it honestly, so it's pretty incredible as far as that goes. But yeah, it's been a game changer. And I think, look, you either, if you don't get on board, you're going to get left behind because it's going big places with AI for sure. So I'm just barely scratching the surface.
True.
Yeah.
So, what's working really well for you right now in your business, and what's been most frustrating?
What's working really well? Well, I will tell you, as I said, I just got back from speaking in Chicago at a conference. And what is working well for me, you have to think when I first got started in real estate, I was very much one to one, raising money, talking one off. And then now I get on a lot of podcasts and webinars along the way, which have been great because now it's one to many. Well, I just got back from this conference and I was amongst a whole lot of people and I was speaking from the stage. And so people got to hear my track record and what I have come through as a doctor and why I left and some of the barriers and battles and the ups and the downs. And that just created a whole lot of buzz. And so I'm in a room filled with a lot of people. And I got home yesterday and I've already had 4 calls today from people that got on my calendar. So they're just hungry, hardworking people that want to make moves. But I will tell you, there's a barrier that had to be paid in order for them to be in that room is awesome because it tells us they're high caliber individuals and most likely they're going to put their money where their mouth is and they're deadly serious, not curious about being a mover and a shaker and executing. So they're just, it was a room full of action takers and it was absolutely incredible. So when I can get out there and in the forefront and speak on panels and at conferences, that's really been a game changer for me. Why? Because you have more people that you've met, there's more connections of me giving. It's the law of reciprocity. If I help others with what they need, they're going to help me with what I need. Opens up way more doors for opportunity. And I think that that has really been super powerful with those people. You just put out there what you stand in need of. And it just, if people know you, like you, and trust you, it travels fast
True.
and relationships get birth.
Absolutely. What's been most frustrating?
What's been most frustrating? The damn ass rates.
Oh, right. Yes.
The terms, right? Because understand when the rates go up, the values of the properties go down, right? And so when if you were to go to sell it, they go down. But guess what? People want top dollar for their property when they're selling it, right? And they don't realize cap rates have gone up. Therefore, their property's not worth as much as they thought it was from 3 years ago. There's just, I would tell you, just the inflation, the lending has gotten tighter, They don't want to give as much money for rehabs and all of the things with our apartment buildings. It's just a little bit, it's just a shift in the market. And I think let's just call it a season. It's a
Mhm.
season. The best part about a season is they don't last forever. So it's just, we're going to have to wait it out a little bit. We've already had some rate drops and we're set to have two more before year end. So that's really promising as
Okay.
well.
And so
Yeah.
what metrics are you most focused on improving?
Metrics that we're planning on improving. I mean, I think like, look, if you can decrease your expenses, that's always a win, right? And so I know on a couple of our properties, we've already had it that they can. We've been exploring letting them into their own properties and getting keys to go. It's less overhead that you're having to pay for. So those some things like such. So I don't think that there's anything that's really frustrating to me. I mean, I just think costs have gone through the roof and it makes it very difficult. So as much as we can tighten up on our expenses and shore those up, that's going to be super helpful for us.
Okay. So where do you want to be with Quattro Capital 6 to 12 months from now?
Ooh, in 6 to 12 months. Well, what I will tell you is in 2021, we purchased 17 apartment buildings in 1 year. So I know what we're capable of. Guess what? Here's the coolest part. Our systems are so much tighter. They're so much better than they were back from 2021. So we know what we're capable of. Now it's go time. So 2026 is here. We hope to have our hands on some powder from our fixed income fund so that we can really start to make moves. Even if we pay cash for some of these assets, it puts us in the driver's seat because now we've got a great reputation with all the brokers that are out there. And those teams and operators that have had success, that
Mhm.
haven't lost properties, that have gone full cycle and sold properties, brokers know about us. So now when a good deal comes, who are they going to take it to? Hopefully
Mhm.
Quattro Capital, right? And so we look forward to grabbing some serious assets come 2026. We're just super excited for what's to come. Lots loaded. We feel blessed and highly favored, so I'm sure some incredible things are going to unfold come 2020.
If you could solve one major challenge in your business today, what would it be?
One challenge in our business. Well, of course, it's getting your hands on more money because there's two things in our industry that are the most powerful. The first is money. It's always great to get your hands on a whole lot of money and people ready to deploy. The second one is getting your hands on properties. I think we're going to have great luck with getting our hands on a lot of properties. It's really just getting the capital so that we can execute in a very timely fashion that lined up.
So now I have some rapid fire fun questions. What's one mantra or quote you live by?
Ooh, what's mantra? Oh, here we go. Go big to give big. So I am not stopping. We are buying apartment buildings after apartment buildings. And the more money that we make impacting lives and sowing goodness into the world, not just giving people a house, but an actual home, we are doing right by people, not treating them like not being a slumlord. And let's give a yes to that because there's too many of that going on. And I think that we operate out of a giving heart, impacting lives. Guess what? The money is just the byproduct. And the bigger I go, the bigger I can give. And that's the bottom line.
I love that. What's one book or mentor that changed your life?
Ooh, can I give you two?
Sure.
Awesome. I already said it earlier that Who Not How by Dan Sullivan
Mhm.
was amazing. And I just love how think of Richard Branson. He's got like over 200 companies that he has. How does he do it? He puts the who's the in their place that know how and he doesn't worry about that and he's able to execute. Same with me why I'm able to have Quattro Capital buying apartment buildings, why I'm able to have an insurance brokerage, why I have a company that sells shipping container tiny homes, why I have you get what I'm saying? Like the more you put those people in their place, I mean my Airbnbs and how I have a team that runs all of those. You can do more if you give other people a piece of the pie. You do not have to have it all for yourself. It's
Mhm.
way better to give people a piece of the pie than to pay out of your pocket for their time, energy, and effort. You're going to get way more out of them. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's about the law of reciprocity. If you help people get what they want, you'll get what you want. And why not bless the socks off of people? You get a great reputation. People, they end up being your family, right? You have the right environment, the right people. So that's number one. Number two is I avid and it's a non-negotiable with listening and hang I should say it's a non-negotiable to hang out with billionaires in the morning. my billionaire friends. Think about that for a second. It's a non-negotiable. I hang out with my billionaire friends in the morning. Okay, not all of them are billionaires, but multimillionaires. So I dig into people like Tony Robbins, like Ed Milet, all the different folks that are out there that are doing big things that have had success, and listen to their words of wisdom. Why? Because that's going to help us on our trajectory as we go to dominate in life. And so they're masters, they've had success, reinvent. I just hang out with them. So I do that when I work out. I don't listen to music. I'm different. I'm an anomaly. I'm a little out there. I don't listen to music. I listen and let them feed my brain all the goodness of the world that we live in and how we can execute and live better lives at the same time, impacting lives.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Erin Hudson. Thank you for joining me on CEO Tech Talks. Your story is such a powerful reminder that reinvention isn't about leaving one passion behind. It's about expanding into your full potential.
Yes. Amen to that.
Thank you. For listeners, you can learn more about Erin's work at thequattroway.com.
Yes, you sure can. Or you can find me on all social media platforms, Erin Christiansen Hudson.
Thank you for joining CEO Tech Talks. I hope today's conversation sparked new insights and inspiration for your own leadership journey. Until next time, stay inspired, stay visionary, and keep leading with light. Brought to you by Neura AI Consulting.